All right, everybody, welcome to BO Boys for Wednesday, November 12th. Fuck it, it's a raw feed. We're doing it live. I'm Clayton.
Yeah, I'm David.
And you know what that sound is. David Thompson is here as what I'm calling Covember rolling on. Of course, now, if you've been following the show, which why wouldn't you be, we had Chris Clemmer on, little tech check before we had Podcast Jesus. Kirk Minahan on the show. Now we've got David Thompson. So we are rolling. We're officially rolling. Now, David, I know. So you've heard the last episode, obviously, and you know about the Tokyo tape. Yeah.
I've heard.
What's been called the lowest moment in BO Boys history, and it's not even close. Now, if you don't know about the Tokyo tape, please go back to the last episode with the Podcast Jesus, Kirk Minahan, and listen to that. We did not play the whole tape. We thought the whole tape would be too much for people to handle because it was the sound of a man spiraling out of control. And since that tape came out, the partial tape, Pat is now MIA. We have not heard from Pat since the Tokyo tape. The last anybody heard of him, he was at what's called a maid cafe in Japan. I don't know if you know what a maid cafe is, but and there was 834, the length of the tape, scrawled on the walls. So I think he's deep in the bowels of the Tokyo underground. So, thoughts and prayers. I know it's Veterans Day. It was Veterans Day. We're recording this, and a lot of people are thinking about the veterans, but let's think about Pat. Let's keep him in our heart. Sorry to bum you out immediately, David, with this.
Hopefully we hear from him ever again, right? It's up in the air.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, we might, we won't. But I want to just give you the opportunity here because officially, there was a lot of buzz around. Are these tryouts? And they weren't tryouts. Like, these were not tryouts. I said, come with tryout energy. Do this show in a co-hosting position as if it was going to be your show. That's what I said. But that doesn't, to me, mean it's an actual tryout. But again,
right.
If the person became a fan favorite, say, I don't know, somebody's mom was a really huge fan of somebody and got to see their two favorite boys together twice a week. So I just want to give you, and with all due respect to Pat's either alive or half alive or completely dead body, give your pitch to be co-host of the BO Boys.
Well, of course, I think I, do reach a certain demographic, as we know. I think I hit that, 60 plus maybe female demo that isn't broadly, I think, a huge part of the BO Boys audience. And I think that's a huge work for expansion, for, open opportunities, and for, just adding more and more greatness to this podcast. And, I'm not a critic, but I love to share my feelings. I love to share my thoughts on everything happening in the world of movies and TV. And I'm excited to be here today because I've actually seen 2 of the movies that come out this weekend. And I'm excited to throw in that bit of flair and talk about that, how it relates to the box office.
So you're saying you've actually seen movies we're going to talk about, and you're not crouched in a sewer, covered in your own excrement, in the bowels of Tokyo.
That's exactly. I'm here, and I'm alive.
Great. I mean,
a huge plus right now.
I think fogging up a mirror is right now the number one priority for the co-host of the BO Boys. They need to be alive, and right now we're just not sure about Pat. So, all right, so we've got 2 pretty big movies coming out. Now I'm wondering, because there is Keeper, the Osgood Perkins movie from Neon. Is that one of the ones you saw, or you saw the 2 bigger possible blockbusters?
Saw the 2 bigger ones. I've not seen Keeper yet. But yeah, I did see Running Man and Now You See Me 3.
Great. Okay. So, and are you able to talk about these movies? Will you get
Yeah.
in trouble that everything's
Nope.
been lifted? You don't have to worry about. Okay, great.
We are all good.
Great. Which one do you want to start with? Which one are you most excited for box office wise?
Man, that's a great question. I just saw Running Man, so I kind of want to start there. I saw Now You See Me a little bit more ahead of time. So I kind of want to talk about Running Man, because the thing with this, not a critic, huh?
Huh?
The critics are kind of being hard on this film. And my perspective on this was I really liked Running Man. I had never read the book, or is it a short? I think it's a full book. Never read the book, never seen the original. So that might have affected my viewing experience, where I didn't really fully know the story going in.
Mhm.
And having watched it, huge crowd, it was a lot of fun, and I had a great time. I was kind of surprised to see the mixed reactions. People saying it's Edgar Wright's worst film yet. You made that great point recently about what did Chad Powers do to the Glenn Powell stardom. I think that's definitely something that we're going to be testing out this weekend at the box office. And for me, after seeing both movies, Running Man, to me, in my mind at least, gave off more like this could be a huge movie energy for whatever reason. I think because it is such a star driven, it's such a Glenn Powell driven movie that gets me excited for its box office prospects. But I don't like, that's my personal perspective. Now taking in the overall reactions, I'm a little more dubious on it. I think people are gonna like Now You See Me 3 more. It might be more of it might have a higher cinema score after seeing both. But I liked both, and I liked Running Man, and it does feel like it has more of an attempt to be big box office, even though I know both are trying to. And I'm excited to see this weekend, like, are people really drawn to Glenn Powell in the starring role of this film? Because he really is the driver behind this movie. Like, there's not even really a 1B to his performance and to his role. So it's going to be a major test for him, and I'm excited about that. Even if it goes poorly, I'm excited to see what happens.
Now, do you think this is a good performance for somebody who's trying to break out as a big popcorn movie star?
Yeah, I 100% think so. I think that it was like a great action vehicle for him. To me, this role and this kind of decision to go with this movie, and we just saw Tom Cruise attending that opening, that premiere, just to go and support his buddy. It feels very Tom Cruise coded. It seems like Tom Cruise was an influence on this decision, and maybe even future decisions from Glenn Powell, because it was something where you could tell he had a lot of investment in on screen, behind the scenes, and that's so Tom Cruise, a lot of action. And yeah, I really think that he's going for it. And for the sake of Glenn Powell taking on more roles like this in the future, I hope it succeeds, because I'd rather see him in a movie like this than in a TV. I haven't even watched Chad Powers, but in a TV show like Chad Powers, or in even like a rom-com like Anyone But You. Yeah, I liked him in that movie, fine. But I'd rather see him in these action type roles, because we kind of do have a gap for that kind of a thing right now. I mean, John Wick, Keanu Reeves, whatever Tom Cruise does. But beyond that,
there's a huge age gap, right? I mean, I think there's one of those things where who are the action go-to people in the moment? You've got, like you said, Keanu, right? They're all older. Keanu, Statham, Gary Butler, right? Those are the people who do action movies. And then Tom Cruise does that higher level of, the Mission Impossible. He's going to be in a space movie. I don't know if that's still going on, but jumping in a parachute from Mars to back to Earth, or whatever he's going to do,
right,
and still somehow survive, and then teach the people that were teaching him how to do it better. But yeah, who is the young people? Like, Austin Butler doesn't really do the action thing. Timmy's not an action guy. And so Glenn is that heir apparent.
Yeah, and Pratt, or like I was gonna bring up Pratt, but Pratt's such a franchise chaser kind of a performer, where I feel as Powell really isn't. Like, there's a lot of action stars that are in the realm of what I cover on a day-to-day basis, which is comic book kind of action. You know, like you could say Tom Holland is an action star because of Spider-Man and Uncharted, just because of those two roles. And he is very action driven kind of a, an actor. That was a huge part of him being cast as Spider-Man to begin with when he was 19 years old, was because he could just like somersault and do a backflip and all this kinds of stuff. But we don't have, in, like you said, in a lower, like Glenn Powell's about to be 40 in a few years. So, mid to late 30s. But we really, it's not a thing. And I hope that Glenn Powell has success in this movie and can continue to be. And it being an Edgar Wright film, that should be the case. This should be another kind of jumping off point. And even if Glenn Powell's next big action thing is Top Gun 3, that's fine. But it's just, I don't know. I like the idea that Glenn Powell is trying to kind of, he's doing something different, than other stars right now. Even you mentioned like Austin Butler and Chalamet, or like, oh Lordy, those all seem kind of similar to me. They're not trying to do action. They're trying to win Academy Awards, I think. I mean, Austin Butler's he's got an interesting role. I think he's got an interesting kind of like idea for his career. But there's no doubt that I feel like Elordi and Chalamet mainly are really chasing those kind of like auteur dramatic roles that could give them like a lot of attention for awards and stuff like that. And like The Running Man of Glenn Powell, that's not an awards movie, right? That's a popcorn movie. Yeah. And that's what it's trying to be. And I appreciate that.
Now, David, can you even picture Jacob Elordi running?
I haven't seen Frankenstein yet. It's not in theaters, so
he's probably like either hobbling around or sort of, dragging his ass. I don't think he's running. I don't think he's doing a running thing.
Not a great runner.
Thing is that now Timmy runs in the new Marty Supreme trailer, so he's doing some running. But yeah, I'm thinking Jacob Elordi, like imagine him doing any sort of real heavy physical activity is very hard for me to imagine. So he's not the action star.
People throwing him out for Bond. It's like, really? Jacob Elordi? I don't see that at all.
God, he'd be like the laziest Bond there ever has been.
I mean, let's shout out. I mean, Craven sucked, but Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's kind of trying to do the action thing a little bit.
Yeah.
And he has like the highest Vegas odds still to be the next Bond. I don't know if that's going to happen, but
well, we know the next Bond is going to be Jeff Bezos and the next Bond girl is going to be his wife. We know this. This is all bullshit. Let's just have that wrap around our heads and we're dealing with it. I've already, I never loved Bond. So the fact that Jeff Bezos is going to be our Bond now is fine with me. Whatever.
Sure, you don't care. Yeah.
So Glenn Powell, so this is going to be interesting because I don't think Edgar Wright matters for the general public in any massive way. Now, it'll only matter because they might feel when they see it that it's a genuine director with some style doing a movie, which is rare nowadays, right? So they might feel it in the cinema, but they might not go just because it's Edgar Wright. I would say a very small percentage of people are going to see it because it's Edgar Wright. This is Glenn Powell. This is, do people want to get off their keisters, out of their houses, and see Glenn Powell?
Yeah.
And I think that's a question mark. And I do think Chad Powers, which is also a show that I did watch, and who knows how to enjoy TV anymore? Who knows if I actually enjoyed it, or I was just like, good. Yeah, or I was just like, this is flashing colors, and I like that guy. I think it hits so many familiar beats of these dramedy sort of shows that have really worn out their welcome, at least in my household, right? But I don't think it was terrible. I don't think it was such an atrocity that it's lowered his stock in any way. It just feels like to me, as a fan of cinema, that it lowered his stock to lower himself to being in a Hulu show when his stock was on the rise.
I agree.
And it says something, and we'll get to Now You See Me, Now You Don't, because we did not get to mention Sydney Sweeney and Christie, which is getting lambasted online for being a giant bomb, for being one of the top 10 lowest grossing movies to open in over 2,000 theaters, blah, blah, blah. Here's what I'm going to say about Sydney Sweeney. And I'm going to say something that people don't talk about because they're so busy talking about all other things.
Right.
At least she's putting movies in the theater.
Yeah.
There was an article about how she's had this unprecedented string of bombs. It's like, oh, Americana. You thought Americana was going to come out and make $20 million opening weekend? Americana is a small movie. It was released in theaters. That's good. Christie, a small movie. It was released in theaters. That's good. Sydney Sweeney is trying to do theatrical films. That is good. And so when the news is, oh, all she does is bombs, it's like some of these movies are not expected to make the amount of money that even Madam Web made.
Yeah, and FYI, her next 2 movies are going to be smash hits. The Housemaid and Devil's Wear Prada, the Devil's Wear Prada 2.
Yeah.
Those are both going to be smash hits. I mean, and that's not a complete Sydney Sweeney driver, both those movies. It is like a shared screen, but it's what it kind of reminds me of. It's like Sydney Sweeney is trying to do this whole thing where I love it too. She keeps putting out movies. She's dedicated. I genuinely feel like she's like dedicated to continually work, put out films, try out different roles, do stuff that's different, and like try out these roles that people don't give her any credit for. And I want to see Christie. Like I actually saw I almost saw Christie, but I saw Die My Love instead. Was that the name of that movie? Yeah. That was interesting. Speaking of stars.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a critic, but I think we're on the same page with that movie.
That was such a weird movie.
Yeah.
But I want to see Christy. I like what she's doing. But then also when she teams up, forget Madam Web, like Anyone But You. What an awesome sensation that was.
Yeah.
It's going to be The Housemaid. That's going to be a big hit. The Devil Wears Prada 2. That's not even her movie, but she's a part of that film, and that's going to be a huge hit. And it feels like when she is added in, but FYI, how she got her like big claim to fame, Euphoria, she's also just a piece of that show. She is just one of many. She's not even the lead of that show. So I don't know. It feels like, maybe her biggest movies won't be where she is the lead, but you could argue in The Housemaid she'll be the lead. She literally is the housemaid. So
yeah. Titular. She's the titular housemaid.
That's exactly right. And she wasn't the titular Madam Web. I don't remember her name in that movie, and I probably should, but I have no idea what her name was. So I with Sydney Sweeney, I agree with you. Like, it was unfortunate to see what Christy did this weekend, but especially I think what was weird about that, I haven't shared my thoughts on this at all. It felt like Sydney Sweeney was getting so much press lately, but no one knew what she was promoting, which is such a weird. That is such a sign of the internet and the clipification of everything, where no one watches the full video or like late night show of anything.
Yes,
all they see is 10 seconds, and they like what. I don't even, if you're a studio or even the artist, you basically never promote your actual project by being in any of those clips. You get put into more of the public eye, but that clearly doesn't one-to-one translate to people then going and buying a ticket to a movie they never heard of that also has you in it. And I don't know, it's kind of a testament to that changing thing when it comes to marketing, because it feels like she was being very facey for a reason, but that didn't even matter. I think Glenn Powell and the Running Man has done at least a little bit. I think the Now You See Me 3 marketing has done a way better job than any of them. I think their marketing jobs have been actually really, really, really good. And you can have a lot of fun with that marketing. But they've all, in general, those are of course bigger movies and big stars. But it's weird to see individual star-driven movies like the Sydney Sweeney's Christie and get so much, just popularity and just focus online, and it doesn't translate. And it really, it makes it impossible. I had kind of a question for you.
Yeah. Shoot.
Do we have movie stars? Do they exist? What is a movie star? Because like I'm just laying out, but Sydney Sweeney, like she needs, like when she's kind of additive, it works better. I don't, I went and saw Jennifer Lawrence, Robert Pattinson movie this weekend, right? And it's like, that movie's not going to make any money. Who cares?
No.
Like you can get, and then once again, all those clips about Katniss and Edward and all that funny stuff, that does not translate to people going out and seeing that film. I don't know what actor in Hollywood in a real, genuine way, maybe Chalamet, is the reason someone goes out to the movie to see something. Like it feels so much more franchise based than ever. And if it's an actor with a franchise, that can work, but just an actor, what is a successful movie in the last 5 years that is based on just a star, just an actor? I don't think it's a thing anymore.
Well, I mean, that's a great I think the definition of a movie star as I see it, as someone my age, obviously Gen X, and you are Gen Z, young millennial. You're on the cusp.
Yeah, I'm Gen Z, 98. So I think I'm Gen Z. Feel like I do trans or get more references when it comes to millennials, but yeah, I'm on that line.
Okay, great. So I think for me, it is like you were saying, if you are a movie star, you are the sole reason somebody's going. Or at least when they ask why are you going, your percentage is the highest of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Leo proved with this One Battle After Another that, now listen, did it make Deadpool Wolverine money? It's not going to, but PTA's movies made no money before this. Paul Thomas Anderson was not a money-making filmmaker. And the fact that Leonardo DiCaprio was able to make this movie into the biggest hit that Paul Thomas Anderson has ever had, right? Everybody's still talking about the financials about this movie, but the reason people went and saw it is because Leo was in it.
Yep.
Hands down. Because if you want to listen to Letterboxd bros and gals and people, they'll say, well, Paul Thomas Anderson, that's online. That's not real life. My mom, who is a big fan of David Thompson and knows David Thompson, does not know Paul Thomas Anderson.
That's right. Yeah,
and
exactly.
So I think Leo's one. I think, of course, Cruise has proven that he is one. I know it's hard because some of his, he tried to do a few movies, in between these Mission Impossibles that didn't do well. But I do think he drives people to the movies in a way that other people don't. Denzel does it. I think Denzel does it. Right. I mean, if you had the Equalizer franchise and Ice Cube was the Equalizer. Now, Ice Cube had a moment where he could have opened the Equalizer. But I think Denzel is still a guy that people go see movies for.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Sandy Bullock. When Sandy Bullock puts her name on a movie, people will go see it. And she rarely does it anymore. She makes herself special. And I think she's a movie star. So, I mean, there's no
I think Leo is the 101 to me. Because even to me, Cruise, I would like, if it's Cruise doing the PTA movie, or it's like or a movie of that, he's that new smaller movie coming out.
And we'll see that'll
see.
Yeah, and we'll see if he has to eat the wings. We'll see if he has to eat the wings.
Yeah, Leo doesn't though. Leo doesn't have to do a thing, and I agree. I mean that I definitely slipped my mind. I think Leo really is the one. But I think that's a thing, right? Like, I mean, and maybe it is like going back to the generational thing, Gen Z here. Who's the youngest? Like, Leo's been around. My mom was pregnant with me when she saw Titanic in theaters. Like, Leo's been with me literally my entire life. Who's next? Right? Like that I think is the big question. And I think Chalamet might be the answer. I think he probably is the answer. But we need more than just Chalamet to me. And even then, like, you could argue that is he really like such a massive box office draw completely by himself?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just an interesting landscape, I think, especially in the world of like the Sydney Sweeneys of it all, where sure, she has this huge, it's just defining a star. Like, she's a massive star online, but does that translate to the box office? And I think in a way, it's like with Leonardo DiCaprio or even Tom Cruise, it's the opposite. not necessarily big internet stars, but are big
Yeah.
movie stars.
But I mean, again, like Mr. Beast gets billions of views on his videos, and I mean, he's never going to see a big screen unless it's some sort of weird vanity project or something. You know what I mean? So it's like,
That sounds terrible. Yeah.
that does sound terrible. I mean, it'll happen at some point. And listen, if it's in the theaters, whatever, it's not for me. Right. But I think, David, you really threw out such a piece of David Thompson history here with the fact that you were at Titanic before you were even born. Titanic, one of the greatest box office runs.
Back to the box office.
That is crazy. That
I was there for the box office. That's
you
right.
were there during that run, and it just
in my blood.
It's in your blood. You heard the Celine Dion song. You heard "Don't Let Go."
Love that song.
You heard all those. You were hearing that in the room. That's such a beautiful reason why you should just be the new permanent co-host of.
That's what I should have said at the beginning.
Yeah,
you're right.
You should have said, I was in the womb when Titanic was happening. I saw it before I was even born.
That's right.
That's an amazing story. I love that. Now, let's talk about Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Now, I'm high on this movie, but Lionsgate has really shaken my confidence. I know occasionally they can have a hit. They just put out so much trash. I feel like they haven't really had
that Good Fortune movie I saw. That was
not a critic.
They didn't market that movie at all, though. That was so weird.
It was hard because how do you market a movie with Aziz Ansari as the lead? I think it's very
and the director.
Yeah, and the director. Yeah, writer, director, all of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good point.
That's pretty tough. So, how are you feeling about this movie after having seen it? And before that, what is your interaction with those first two movies?
Yeah, big fan. Saw them in high school, I guess, 2013, 2016, that makes sense. And then big fan. I'm a huge Jessie Eisenberg fan. One of my favorite actors. I'll see anything that he's in. So disappointed he's not coming back for the Social Network sequel, even though kind of it's like just leave the first one as it is, and that kind of won't. It'll help it not ruin the first one if that movie sucks, which it probably will. But I'm a big fan. So like I said, I saw the movie. I really like what they do with adding the new cast. That was my big worry going in. Like, this movie's gonna suck because the new cast is gonna suck. The new cast does not suck. Speaking of a rising star, this Dominic Sessa guy who was in The Holdovers, the kid they found from the school they filmed that movie on, and now he's gonna be Anthony Bourdain in that upcoming biopic. Love that guy. He's in this movie. The continual in every movie that we've ever seen, Ariana Greenblatt as the younger kid version of X character. She's in this movie as well. And I think it's a really great kind of baton toss / setup for even more success in the future. So I'm pretty bullish on it. I like the movie a lot. I'm a little worried about the opening box office because for two reasons. The second one wasn't very good. The first one's really good, I thought. The second one's not very good. And it's been a long time. And it's in that kind of weird range of it's just a sequel. It's not a legacy sequel.
Yeah.
So we have familiarity with it, but are we still in the right demographics to be going to see this? It needs to generate new audience members. And kids now in high school need to go be excited about this movie like I was in, say, 2013 for the first one.
Yeah.
And that could be tough. And I think even stardom wise, it's not quite a star. I mean, it's got stars in it for sure. But even compared to a Running Man head to head, Glenn Powell's very facey. And I think because of Top Gun Maverick, especially, even anyone but you, it's okay, we get this is this new young, fresh guy who everyone's he's on the rise. And everyone sees him as a movie star. So it's got a bit of an uphill battle, but I could see it having pretty good legs and even potentially greenlighting a fourth one, because I think that's definitely something that Lionsgate, we kind of were just talking about it, a studio that's dying for franchises. It couldn't keep pumping out more Hunger Games movies. They're just squeezing as many Hunger Games stories as possible out to continually create franchises for Lionsgate. They need more franchises. And the one and the other worry I had back to like it's not a legacy sequel, it's just a sequel, but it's 9 years later. What just happened with Tron Ares? That's the same idea. Not quite a legacy sequel. It's still just a sequel, but it was like 10 plus years later. There was some familiarity, but no one really cared at the end of the day.
It actually, when you were saying that, it made me think of Scream 4, because Scream is on my mind, where this might be falling in the range of Scream 4 and not Scream 5, where Scream 5 seemed to have been released at the perfect time for young people to be excited and the elderly like myself.
That was the first Scream movie I saw, was Scream 5.
Yeah. And so I think, but like 4, probably you were too young. And for me, I was not in a place where I was really, excited to see another Scream movie necessarily at that time. So I do think that is an interesting thought with this one.
Yeah.
Now, here's the other thing that might be damaging to these two movies this weekend is Predator Badlands, which overperformed and then continued to overperform over the weekend. And that is a movie that, have you covered that movie? Because does that fall under the sort of fanboy sort of coverage, not to demean
universes you love, as we say on the Direct podcast.
The Direct podcast, not to say fanboys to make it seem like a bad thing. I'm not saying that.
No, that's great.
But is it a universe that people love?
It is. It's not one that me and Matt cover on our podcast, but it is covered on thedirect.com. So it is something that we cover, like the large we of the Direct, if I could represent them for a second. Like, yes, it is something that's covered.
Well, you're like the Borg, right? You guys are like the Borg. There's a hive mind, and you're all plugged in.
Yeah, we're like, Venom with the symbiotes and the hive mind. It's great. It's awesome. So yeah, it's definitely something that we cover.
Did you just you got a prompt from the Queen that said, "Say it's awesome"?
It's shit. No, no, I haven't even seen the movie. But I've heard great things. I know, like, speaking of like coworkers and stuff, I know plenty of people that like saw it early. We had an official review on thedirect.com, all that kinds of stuff, and a lot of you can always get that sense of a lot of positive nerd energy behind something. And that's what happened with Predator Badlands. And I think, we'll talk about it. I think it's going to roll over very nicely into weekend too, because I think it has caught enough attention and gotten a lot of positive word of mouth amongst people that people are now more interested in seeing it. And even like people that maybe weren't going to see it initially in theaters will now go out weekend too.
Yeah. Who gets hurt the most of these two movies that are opening? Do you think it's Powell that takes it? Does the Predator take down Powell, or does the Predator take down Woody Harrelson?
I think it might be Woody Harrelson.
Okay.
I think it might be Now You See Me. It's going to be an interesting weekend. Like, we haven't had, October was such a crappy month for the box office. Mainly I think because Michael Jackson, the Michael movie moved out. Like, that was supposed to release what was the Carl Urban movie? Oh my gosh, the Mortal Kombat was supposed to release in October. Yeah, that jumped out. So
that's gonna be massive, by the way.
You think it will be next year?
Oh, Mortal Kombat 2, I think it's gonna be massive. Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
Oh, you don't think so?
Yeah, it probably will. I don't know. I need to do more research. I've got my big annual top 10 box office thing coming out next month on the Direct, and I have not. I've been starting the Michael trailer really triggered the like, oh wait a second, I need to start like deep diving into this and seeing what's happening, because that movie is gonna make so much money. At least I think so.
I agree. We'll talk about that too. Finish your thought, and then let's talk MJ, because I want to get the Gen Z opinion.
Yeah, let's do it. With Predator Badlands, I think it's something that can have really solid legs, because it has competition, but you ask the question of like, is it going to take more away from Glenn Powell or Woody Harrelson? I don't know. I almost think like those, in a funny way, I almost feel like the people that would watch Predator Badlands just saw like Chainsaw Man in theaters.
Yeah. Well, because we have heard from some reviews that it feels like an open world video game. It's this
Yeah, exactly.
predator character with a sidekick sort of exploring a
Mhm.
universe. And I mean, that's what video games are a lot of times. I don't play video games. I'm not a child. But I do think that there's a lot of people that we were seeing that there was a dip in young people going to see Predator movies, right? So the last Predator movie with Shane Black that he directed, this one had less young people going to see it, at least initially in the Friday and the Saturday, but
Right.
those are ticking up. And so this could be one of those things where young people are hearing from the fewer young people who saw this movie that it's actually good, and then they're going to come. So that's great. You want your IP to stay young, and you still want older people to be interested enough in it to come out too. But
Yeah.
you really need the young people to grab a hold of it.
A lot of people liked Prey 2 a couple of years ago. I know that
Yeah.
wasn't a big box office hit, but
There's
yeah,
no box office because it
it
was
was.
on
I was gonna say
Hulu.
it was just a streamer, but that was people really really liked that movie, and I think there was a lasting effect that bled into Badlands.
So I'm going to use the same joke I used last time, but from one Predator to another. What did you think about that MJ trailer?
I'm
Supposed,
sure the
I guess
Jackson estate will be happy when Predator Badlands is out of theaters. You can stop doing that.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess. Well, I used to do one. Okay, I'm not going to go into it. See, listen, I just censored myself, and I think I definitely should have. That was a smart move by
that was
me.
your hive mind in the background. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
we
absolutely. Yeah,
finally heard
yeah,
from Pat,
yeah. That
the
was
omni voice of Pat.
yeah. That was me not trying to lose my day job. Um, but anyway, so MJ as a icon, as a uh, just global force, where does
Yeah,
he live in David Thompson's world?
absolutely huge. I think I was actually talking to this about this with my wife, who also loves Michael Jackson. But it's because we had parents who their heyday was the 80s. Their heyday
Mhm.
was Michael Jackson's heyday. And I think it's kind of coming out at a perfect time because pretty
Yes.
much everyone I've talked to, like people my age, like women, men, whatever, all are
People.
excited. People, huh?
Yeah,
It's
huh?
all excited for the Michael movie. You know, like everyone saw that trailer and that poster and were like, sign me up. I'm gonna be there. This looks like the type of Michael Jackson movie that's gonna be fun in theaters, like enjoyable. It's not gonna be something that like makes your stomach hurt and like you're gonna walk out feeling queasy. So we're all pretty excited. I think that's going to be. I mean, I have one friend who's already like excited to go multiple times and like dress up like multiple times. It's
Yeah.
already a whole thing.
Here's the big question, David. And we were sort of thinking about this when this trailer dropped. Is it possible that Michael, either part one or it's the whole thing, we don't know, it's the whole schmeagle or whatever. Do you think it could make more money all in
Oh, here we go.
than Doomsday?
No, no,
You don't think so?
I do not think so. It's a great question. It's one that I need to ask myself. No, I don't. I will go out on that limb right now and say no. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I think no, I would not say that. I mean, that would be look, I'm on record. I am on this podcast.
Yeah.
10 toes down. Doomsday will be making over $1 billion. And right
Okay.
now, I do not think Michael is going to make over $1 billion. I think that would be crazy. So I think with that being said, no, I do
Okay.
not think it's going to make more.
But it's not definitive. I think if I would have asked you the same question like 3 years ago, you would have laughed at me.
You wouldn't have asked me
And
the question. Right.
you're right. I wouldn't have asked that question. See, this is the sort of stuff. This is why this is going to be really good moving forward.
I mean,
Now,
look, man, I we'll see when I'm on next after this, but 2026, when the clock starts ticking, when that trailer drops, after with Avatar. Hopefully that actually happens. I can't wait. Like, I'm excited for the movie, for the Direct podcast, for the Direct, for all that, for my nerdy heart. But I am so fired up for the box office just to hopefully prove you guys wrong. And it's nothing to be concerned about. And it will be the biggest movie of 2026. And it will gain all this momentum for the MCU going forward. We will see.
And here's the thing, David, is if you win, we win.
Right,
like,
exactly.
We're not rooting for Doomsday to bomb or underperform. The best thing would be if it does like Bafa Bobo, because then other movies under it can get made. I think we're now at a level where there's less superhero movies. And I do think that's positive because it leaves space, but we still need them. We still need the next Spider-Man movie to be a smash. We need Doomsday to be a smash.
Yeah,
we need some of these. We need a new Deadpool movie at some point, right?
Yeah, I mean, Deadpool's going to be in Doomsday, so that helps.
Yeah, and so we need X-Men to be something,
right?
And
that's the big thing, yeah.
Right, and so, but it doesn't have to be. Oh, Jubilee gets her own movie. Nothing against Jubilee, love Jubilee, but we just don't need a Jubilee movie at this moment, right?
Yeah.
And so let's talk about Keeper. This is another movie from Osgood Perkins. He decided not to give us a break. He decided that he's just relentlessly going to put out his movies, despite some people not wanting to have to engage with them. This is another Neon movie. This is his home. So he had the big breakout with Longlegs, 74 million domestic. The Monkey actually ended up doing 39 million. And that is, and I'm not a critic, one of the worst films I've ever seen in my entire life. Truly one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
There's some new monkey movie coming out too, by the way. I don't know what that movie's called. Primate. Yeah, that's it. What is going on?
I guarantee, I'll say 10 Toes to the Ground, Primate's going to be a better movie than The Monkey. I mean, Dunstan checks in is better movie than The Monkey. And Ed, whatever that movie was with the baseball that Matt LeBlanc was in, where he was with a pitching monkey, that's a better movie than The Monkey was. In fact, I'm going to watch that tonight.
The Monkey, God.
So what do you think of The Keeper? Now, this doesn't look as... The Monkey had sort of that kitschiness to it. Longlegs, of course, had that Nicolas Cage performance that was getting buzz, and then the trailer with the heart monitor and all that stuff.
Yeah, people really like that.
This sort of looks really trippy, if you will, and doesn't really tell you anything about what the movie is. This feels like one for him in a way.
Sure.
I don't trust him as a filmmaker, so I don't think it's going to be any good. I make that assumption. Listen, I hope he proves me wrong. After The Monkey, do you think people are off the Osgood train here?
I think they definitely could be. Like you said, the marketing for this one has been non-present, I think, in many ways. It doesn't seem to be getting much of a push from Neon. It's coming out at kind of a rough time. There's a lot in theaters. There's all of a sudden going to be a lot in theaters, which like hasn't been the case, and now suddenly that's going to be the case right when it comes in theaters. So no, and I saw the trailer, I think, and it looks spooky, I guess would be the best way of putting it. I don't know. I don't really have much faith in terms of BO. And I think Longlegs, I know The Monkey did okay too. That was kind of like you said, like it was, I don't know. That had like kind of a bit to it. This doesn't. Yeah. Longlegs it's funny because like Longlegs was such a fun movie, and like people really, really liked that movie. Like box office wise too. Like obviously a lot of people went and saw it, but I don't see any of that good fortune box office wise rolling over into The Keeper. I really don't like the release date for it too. I think it's a bad release.
Why the fuck was it not released Halloween weekend?
Last month. Yeah. What? Nothing was on Halloween.
Yeah. So why
I
not
don't get
release
it.
The Keeper? Why not be like, from the guy who brought you Longlegs
Long
and
legs.
the
Yeah.
guy
And
who made you
lean into
suffer
that.
through the monkey, right?
Earlier this year, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. So, hey, here's what I'll say about this guy is that he's put movies in the theater.
Yeah,
He wants to be a
exactly.
theatrical director, and he is. That's positive. And if people like his stuff, then that's great. I'm just not sure if the goodwill, I think the goodwill from Longlegs made the monkey go higher than it normally would. This could
Yeah.
be an example of the monkey was so bad that people are going to jump off this train.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
I've not met anybody who likes that movie.
no. Yeah. They got totally panned. That is also weird. Like a movie that everyone hated and you release another movie the same year. And that's I feel like not a great sign. And like I said, bad release date. I don't have much faith in this one. I guess the horror freaks and geeks will go out for it, but I don't think much beyond that.
Oh yeah, the horror heads, the horror hounds. I mean, we may, fingers crossed, have Brett of the New Flesh podcast on as for Covember. Hopefully, we'll see. And we'll talk about the results of The Keeper. I'm sure he has seen it, so that will be very interesting. But so, David, do you want to take a look at the top fives here? Make our predictions.
Yeah, I'd love to. I need you to go first, though. At least I want you to go first. I know my top three. I guess I can figure this out. I'm trying to. I'm having a hard time with 4 and 5, and I'm curious what you do, and that might kind of sway me a little bit.
Okay, I will go first.
Yeah.
So don't you worry. I think number one.
This is the question.
This is tough. Yeah, this is the question. Well, and I don't think, I'm going to go Predator Badlands.
Wow, really?
I think this is going to have a pretty good hold.
Wow.
And I think Running Man is not going to do well. I think Predator Badlands is going to be number one. And I think this drop is going to be very low. So it was 40. So I do think that this is going to drop in like the 30s, maybe.
Yeah,
I think under that. Yeah. Now, I think it's Now You See Me.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And I think it's Now You See Me, and then let's see what number am I going to give that one? Because it's tracking right now at, what is it? 20. Let's see. Tracking at 20 to 28. So I think it's going to make like 23. Under that, I think Running Man is going to make like 17.
Oh my gosh! Really? Wow. You think it's gonna kind of flop?
I'm really, really low on it.
Wow.
And I like him. I want it to do well, but I'm low.
Why are you low?
I think I'll say this. I think that the more I saw that trailer, the less I wanted to see that movie. And I think that is bad. I think that is really, really a hard thing to try and quantify. But I felt the buzz around this movie really lessen as it kept going, right? I was very, very excited this for a little while, and then it definitely like fell off a cliff for me.
Interesting.
So under that, I think my top five is pretty nuts, because then I also think that Regretting You.
You think so? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, is going to be number 4.
Yeah.
And then number 5, I think it's The Keeper, just because I think The Keeper will make some money.
Yeah. Well,
but I went for it. No one could ever say I didn't go for it.
Predator being number 1 would be quite the gut punch to both Glenn Powell and everyone on Now You See Me. Like you'd think one of those has to win out, but it would be a huge win for the Predator franchise. And that would be, I mean, if that happens, that would be quite the hold. I'm not going to do Predator number 1. I will make it number 2 though. My number one is going to be The Running Man. I'm
Okay.
zagging. I think I could be wrong, and it could be I recency bias, just seeing the movie, believing in the Glenn Powell machine. At least enough, not like it's gonna blow anyone's socks off box office wise, but it'll be enough and interesting. And yeah, so I'm gonna go Glenn Powell, Running Man number one. I'm not Predator number two, close by. Numbers wise, shoot, Running Man. I'll give it like 32 million.
Okay.
Good, a lot more than what you had. So we're on the other opposite sides here. I think 32 is definitely possible, but we'll see. Maybe not. But I think Predator could hold really well, maybe down to like 24, something like that. That's a really, really great hold. And then I think Now You See Me, I think it's so close. I think Now You See Me right behind there, like in the 23, 22 range. And I'm gonna go Keeper at 4, making her out 5 million, and Regretting You slightly below. But I think it will be those two rounding it out if I were to guess at 4 and 5. I don't really see, like, based on what was just in theaters, what's gonna kind of hang around much more. I'm not really seeing like what that could be. So yeah, I'm gonna say Regretting You, because everything that just opened, like Die My Love and Christie, these things just started off so slow. I don't see those like jumping back up, especially based on their general public reviews and cinema scores.
Yeah, I think Christie's pretty dead. I think Die My Love is very much dead. I think
Absolutely.
Listen, Jennifer Lawrence wanted to do this movie and she got it made, and it is on the big screen. So that's all I'll say about that movie, because I'm not a critic. We need her. You know who's
good performance by her, I think. I thought it was a good performance by her.
Here's somebody we didn't mention when it came to stars, and I think Begonia. Did you see Begonia?
I did not.
Okay. Emma Stone.
Yeah.
She is the reason why Yorgos Lanthimos can make movies and have them released at the level they are. Yeah. Because people will go see Emma Stone. And I think when she wants to turn that switch and say blockbuster time, it'll happen. So I do think, even though her box office isn't looking too strong recently because she hasn't had a big Hollywood movie, she could do it. I think people really like her. And I think she's at a level, she's winning Oscars. I mean, she could win another Oscar this year. And of all the performances I've seen so far, now I haven't seen Hamnet.
Yeah.
But Emma Stone is the front runner for me for best performance.
Yeah, I mean, what even are the competitors this year? I mean, Hamnet obviously is going to be such a tour de force when it comes to Oscar nominations, most likely. Similar to One Battle After Another, which I think is also going to get like pretty much be nominated in every single category it could be nominated for. It's great. It's a great, interesting question when it comes to Emma Stone going back into kind of like doing the franchise thing, because I feel like she hasn't done that in forever. Like I can't even remember the last Cruella. Yeah, and that was a weird COVID like movie. In terms of,
and that would have been, I think, way bigger if it was a good movie.
Yeah, I think that was like an interesting way of doing the whole reimagining thing at Disney. Like that was an actual kind of take with a big star. Like I wish they did kind of more of that style. But yeah, like Emma Stone's such an interesting star in that way, because I'd love to see her do something with a big director and some sort of IP. Even it doesn't have to be big IP, but it's something that's like recognizable and has a big budget behind it and like high, 4-quadrant style of thing right now. Because you're right, like so many people are interested in what she does and what she works on, and it's such this acclaimed actress now. I don't know. That's a good idea. I think that's a good shout in terms of like in the future thinking about that, like when she goes back into it, like we see these like maybe younger actors take that step into a franchise. Like we even saw, who's the guy, like he's also in Hamnet, but he was in Gladiator 2, the main guy, Paul Mescal, like him making that leap, and then it went okay. I'd love to see what Emma Stone's move will be if she ever even does make that move again, which she probably will. I think she'll be offered a check big enough probably to do that at some point.
I think for her, it's the check and it's the control. So if they gave her the keys to the
think about
castle,
Margot Robbie, you know, like Margot Robbie can now do whatever. Like she has the control. She can do whatever she wants after Barbie.
Well, the problem is she's doing great big beautiful journey, and that's a whole nother can of worms with her. Is that she is Barbie, and that's it really at this point. I mean, she has power in the industry because she's a producer, but I don't think people want to see her in. There's just not a. I just don't know what people want to see her in a non-IP role. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Which is tough. It's tough. So, David, what's going on over there at the Direct?
Well, we've got a lot going on. Right now on the Direct podcast, we are going back through all the films through the multiverse saga before the end of 2025, leading into 2026. It's a weird time to be an MCU fan, but it's a fun time to be a Direct podcast listener because it's awesome going back through these. It's great having the kind of the retrospect on where we are right now. Because look, man, you mentioned it a little bit earlier. The Marvel slate is completely emptied out. You know, like it is just all we have is a Spider-Man movie and 2 Avengers movies, and that's it. They are not going to release. I don't think they're just not. They're not going to release any other movies in 2027. It's going to be one. It's going to be just Avengers Secret Wars around Christmas. And then 2028 will be the big kind of explosion of what's next, because that's what's going to really like reset everything. So yeah, a lot of that. We were in a like part of the reason we're doing this multiverse thing on the podcast is because we don't have any big shows going on in terms of like comic book franchises. It sounds like the Lanterns HBO series is getting delayed a little bit to after Supergirl, which releases in late June 2026, which is going to be a really interesting box office conversation. Hopefully we'll have next year, because that could go all over the place. I really, right now, I'm trying to get a grasp on what I think that movie is going to do and what its prospects are, but we'll see. So yeah, a lot of everything coming up. And look, this is not a big box office thing. I know they are actually doing some box office this time around. Stranger Things season 5 is almost here, and that is definitely a universe that we all love. And I know so many people out there are excited about that.
So those episodes are going to be movie length or longer, I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard the finale is going to be 17 hours long.
Well, it's in theaters at least, so at least there'll be some box office numbers for it, hopefully,
and
if Netflix reports them.
That's a lot of popcorn eating too, which is important.
That's right. Yeah, I am glad that they are doing that. They are at least like venturing into theaters for that grand finale. And by the way, I wanted to shout out, are we burning this podcast and the world to the ground if Netflix buys the Warner Brothers catalog? Just curious.
Yeah, we definitely will organize a riot, I think. And that sounds like something that you don't do, but that's how riots start. Is somebody says, you go over there, you throw that trash can through that window, you burn that car, you do that. Right. So we will definitely organize a mass riot for sure.
Great. Okay, sign me up.
So, David, thank you so much for being part of Covember and filling in for Pat. We might be calling you sooner rather than later. I will keep you updated on his well-being.
Yeah.
And
God bless him.
And I would say until then, we're on Apple Podcasts, anywhere you find your podcast, but please rate, review, and subscribe. And just in the review, just put 834. We'll know what it means. Just put 834 or Tokyo Tape. Just put that in the review. 5 stars, please. Thank you. Substack, we are YouTubers. Hey, guys. Instagram, Vertical Clips. Wannabe VP of Interns Christopher is doing God's work over there, cutting the clips for us. Trying to think where else we are on. We are, we're not on that other thing anymore, so don't worry about that. And David,
you signed the Netflix deal yet?
You know that gosh, would that not be the ultimate sellout move for the BO boys? Would that not be the ultimate betrayal? I mean, that's like Bruce moving to California, right? I'm trying to
Sure.
think
Do you see
of
that movie?
I did. We went to Jersey to see it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
We went right
Ground
across the
floor.
bridge. We were.
Yeah.
And yeah, it
I like that
was
movie.
you liked it.
Yeah.
Where does Bruce sit in your like, cuz you love MJ.
Completely like I knew like 3 songs. Like I was going for Jeremy Allen White.
Oh, interesting. What were the 3 songs you knew? Was it
I mean, Born in the USA is like
okay.
just like an anthem. And there's a
Okay.
few others that I recognize, but like literally I did not grow up, I feel like, listening to Bruce Springsteen
So
really
it's
at
like
all. Like I
Outlaw
knew a lot
Pete.
more.
So you
Yeah,
knew
I knew a lot more
Outlaw
like Bob
Pete,
Dylan last year. Yeah.
you knew Girls in the Summer Clothes, the big Bruce songs. So
The
anyway,
radio ones.
give
The
us
ones
your
that he wasn't
favorite.
working on in that movie.
Yeah. See, that was the big problem. They should have
Right.
been doing a whole movie about Outlaw Pete. Now, put your put your favorite in the comments, your favorite Bruce song, and you definitely said it all, David. There's nothing left to be said here.
I finished.
Love it. Except for until next time, we'll
Will
smell
smell
you
you
at
at the
the
box
box
office.
office. Nailed it.
Nailed it.